Community. Really, that's what it's all about. People need to come together and share their similarities, share their strengths, but also share the differences. And community is important to everyone, but when I'm talking about community right now, I'm talking about it in the context of writing. The writing community is important. Not to say that many others aren't, but I'm specifically talking about writing right now. And JT and I have been doing our best to help support members of our local writing community, which is why we've started our second podcast, the Nevada Author Network, with the Sierra Arts Foundation and the Sierra Arts Literary Community. We are making some wonderful friends among that group, and we're very happy to help promote our friends and their works to a wider audience, we hope. We don't have a lot of followers yet, but over time, you never know. It just takes one person in the right position to share the right link to really get the momentum rolling. So we also have started interviewing authors on the CC and JT Amateur Hour, and we just did a podcast interview this morning with Gail Grant Park, who shares a lot of similarities with JT and I. They have a military family background, Irish ancestry, and live in the Intermountain West in Boise, Idaho, not too far north of us. So there are so many similarities among people that we really need to focus on those and not our differences as much, because we are a world divided right now in many places, and we all have very similar hopes and dreams throughout the course of our lives. So that is especially true of authors. We all want to get our words out to the public to find our readers. They may not be the same kind of readers because we do have different writing styles, we do have different writing voices. So that's where the community component comes in, because if someone doesn't enjoy the type of writing that JT and I do, they may enjoy something one of our fellow authors in the local community is putting out. And the only way people will ever learn about our fellow authors is through community and connections. And we're doing our best to help support our fellow writers. So, what we did on Sunday, and I forgot to mention this yesterday because I got so excited about JT throwing me off course with my writing schedule for the year. But this past Sunday, we went to a um, book release at the Riverside Gallery in Reno for Suzanne Morgan Williams and her new book, Seeing Daylight. And I will pop a picture in where she was doing a reading from Seeing Daylight. It's a wonderful book. We did buy copies because we do try to support our fellow authors as much as possible. And we had a great time. A lot of our author friends from the local Northern Nevada writing community showed up for this event. And I think Suzanne was very pleased with the turnout. She is also teaching classes on writing, so you can find out more information about all of that through links, probably to her website. I'll see if I can put a link to that down below so you can find more information about Suzanne. I will also link below to Gail Grant Park. Her podcast episode will be going up on Sunday, March 15th, 2026, which is this coming Sunday. It is the Sunday before St. Patrick's Day. So it is an appropriate episode because she has written a trilogy of Irish ghost mysteries. And I'm definitely going to be reading those soon. So community is wonderful. JT and I talk about how we kind of dread doing these interviews because we are both introverts, even though you might not think so by all the things that we are putting out on the internet. But we have a hard time kind of getting started. But once we start chatting with people, it really is always a wonderful time. We have so much fun with all the authors that we talk to. So you can find our podcasts at www.carsonhume.com for the CC and JT Amateur Hour. And The home for our Nevada Author Network podcasts are at www.twomorebooks.com. That's TWOMOORE books.com. So those are the websites where you can find our podcasts. And I do hope you will check them out because we have put a lot of time and work into trying to help promote our author community. We do try to promote ourselves as well, but I think we feel less comfortable promoting ourselves than we do others. So hopefully, um, like I said, if there's something that you don't find interesting within our books, you can always check out the fellow authors that we are highlighting on our podcasts to find out if there's something you might enjoy there. And we would really appreciate it. What we have yet to find is a reader community. Our writer community is wonderful. We've made all kinds of connections, not only here in Nevada, but we've talked to people in South Korea, in the United Kingdom, in Costa Rica, in Canada, all over the United States. And we always have a wonderful time connecting with these people. So I hope you will definitely check out everybody that we have highlighted in one of our podcasts because, like I said, we're trying to find our reader community now. And really, if you are a reader and you stumble across one of my videos, I hope you will follow along because I would love to find more people who share similar interests to me and to JT because JT and I are very similar. Our tagline is two hearts, one brain cell. We've been married for more than 40 years, so we do think a lot alike, and we do have a lot of similarities. So, like I said, I hope if you are a reader and you happen to stumble across one of my videos or one of our podcasts, I hope you will check out not only our books, but the books of all of our friends. Because I think once we've interviewed somebody, I always feel like we can become friends. And I do hope that by building this community, we can help support each other because it is very difficult to be a writer, especially in this day and age. It is so hard to find a readership. It's so hard to find connection with people because there is a lot of divisiveness. And with all the benefits of social media and the internet, and the fact that we can connect with people in all parts of the world, there is so much available on those platforms and across the internet that it is hard to find a specific niche because there's just an overwhelming amount of information. And that's where community comes in because word of mouth, good old fashioned word of mouth, just talking to your neighbor, talking to a friend. JT and I have found that one of our neighbors here is actually also a writer. And it's, it's always fun to talk to people one on one, face to face, which is why we started doing a lot of our book events because we tend to sell more books when we are talking to people face to face because we are making that connection. So by doing all of this online work, we're hoping to find people, like-minded people, who will share what we're putting out into the world with their friends, with their family, so that we can build a broader community. And another way this is happening is, for example, JT has been playing, I believe it's backgammon on one of the online game sites. And he's gone back and forth with some of the people he's played on these sites. And inevitably, over time, they learn that he has written some books, and sometimes they will check them out. So, in doing that, he is building more community. It is great to find like-minded people by sharing similar hobbies. And I haven't been doing that quite so much because since I retired, I've been very much at home, aside from going out to the Sierra Arts Literary Community meetings. And I don't have quite as many in-person connections as I once did. I don't play other people on online game sites, so I don't have that level of community. But that may change, and I do have to work a little bit harder, I think, to find like-minded people because it really would be wonderful to share not only interests, but maybe share my thoughts with people who share my interests because that's what this is all about. Writing is about sharing interests, sharing thoughts, the exchange of information. If you are reader and not a writer. I believe most writers, especially indie authors with a very small following, would love to chat with you about what they've written, because it is always so exciting when someone shows interest in our work. And you, I know it's difficult because, especially when we've done events at Barnes and Noble, people will walk in and they look over us because it is awkward approaching somebody that you don't know. It is very awkward for us as authors. As I mentioned, JT and I are both introverts. So, specifically when we do these Barnes and Noble events in particular, it feels like we're sitting in a glaring spotlight. And we do try to smile and say hello to people. We don't want to be too pushy, but a lot of people, they don't even respond. They just look right over us or right past us or around us. So if you do happen to be in public and you see an author who is doing one of these book events, at least go and chat with them. You don't have to buy one of their books, but just taking a moment to say hello, how are you? Oh, what have you been writing? It may not be your kind of book, but you never know. You might find your new favorite book that way. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing these daily YouTubes, which, the main reason, of course, I've mentioned repeatedly is to keep myself accountable, to maintain some consistency. But I'm also hoping to find a community, a like-minded audience who's interested in the same things I'm interested in. Now, I have watched a lot of other YouTube videos on how to do YouTube videos and how to become successful at YouTube. And that's not me. No, my thumbnails aren't great. No, my titles aren't the best. I am an older person. I am getting more comfortable in my skin finally, and I am trying to find like minded people who would just sit and chat with me, or basically listen to me chat. But honestly, if you leave comments, which I've mentioned in previous videos, I will do my best to respond, because I do want to get a back and forth going with an audience. And if that should ever take off, I would probably not be able to continue it back and forth because there would be too many people involved. But I am hoping to build at least a small community. Yes, it's great to see that, I've got a certain number of views on my video, or, if one or two people has commented, that actually makes my day. And if somebody comments and says they're going to check out my book, whether or not they do, whether or not they buy it, that's fine, because at least they're aware that I've written a book. I mean, I don't I don't need much. And I feel that many of the authors that we've talked to in our various podcasts feel very similar to the way we do. I don't know that any of us are actually making a living as authors, because it's so hard to sell our work when we're not known. And it's even true of traditionally published authors. It's not necessarily just independent authors. We all need to find our communities in order to be successful at what we do. And hopefully, by finding these communities, we're not only working doing something we love, but we're finding like minded people that we can actually enjoy communicating with. And I think that's just really what it all comes down to: community. I think our world really needs a lot more community right now, because once you get to know someone, the differences kind of fade away. It's not unusual to have a really good friend who might have one really annoying habit, but you don't care because they're your good friend. And I think a lot of the world's problems would at least be reduced if we took more time to get to know each other, to build community. So these are my thoughts for today. Just randomly wanted to talk about community. I wanted to talk about going to the event with Suzanne Morgan Williams this past Sunday, because we did have a wonderful time, like I said, listening to Suzanne read from her book. We chatted with Suzanne, we chatted with our fellow authors who attended the event, and it helped to reinforce the community that we're building. We have some plans moving forward with the Nevada Author Network that we may talk about at a later date, but we're still trying to not only promote ourselves, which we're still very uncomfortable doing, we're really helping to promote our fellow authors, because, you know, how else are we going to become at all successful it is a form of success to get the writing that we've created out into the world, but there are also levels of success that we would like to achieve. There are people who do need to make a living wage at writing because maybe they are homebound and are unable to work, a traditional 9 to 5 job out in the working world. So writing is a way for them to actually try to support themselves and maintain that sense of individualism, that sense of self-respect. I mean, there are so many reasons why people write. People write just to put the words out there, and they may not care if anybody ever reads them. That's fine too. But we hope that if you are just stumbling across one of the things that we're putting out into the world, that you will check out our books, but you will also check out the books written by the authors that we talk to, because we really do want to help others find their readers. And in the meantime, hopefully we'll find ours as well. So if you have stumbled across this video, thank you for your time. I appreciate you. As you can see, it is another beautiful day here in Northern Nevada. The weather is warming up nicely. We are heading towards spring. We are doing more podcasts. As I mentioned, we just did a recording this morning that will go live on Sunday, March 15th. So be sure to go check that out. And if you are interested in Irish stories, Tales of the Emerald Isle, for example, you will definitely want to check out Gail Grant Park's books. You might also be interested in my romance, Passion Restored, because the main character's mother is Irish, and she obviously was raised by her Irish mother. So there are little hints of Irish background in there. I do talk about things like Imbolc and St. Bridget and all kinds of little Irish touches. It's not deeply Irish, but there were a lot of Irish on the Comstock during the heyday. So it is not a stretch of the imagination to say that Irish people still live on the Comstock. And that's basically the backstory of the female main character in Passion Restored, is that she is of Irish ancestry, and she does have that little nuance of Irish background. So definitely check those things out if you're interested in Irish history, ancestry, things like that, especially at this time of year, since we are getting very close to St. Patrick's Day. If you are in Carson City or the surrounding area, on Tuesday, March 17th, JT and I will be at Comma Coffee, which is directly across the street from the Nevada State Legislature in Carson City. JT is having a party for the release of his next book, Finding Salvation, which is a prequel novella trilogy compilation. I've been practicing that. And it is, we have probably just a handful of books at this point in time. So if you want to snatch one up on release day and get it autographed by JT, I really hope you will stop by and say hello. Finding Salvation is the prequel to the Serving Salvation sci-fi novella trilogy, or novel trilogy, excuse me. Finding Salvation is 3 novellas. Serving Salvation is 3 novels. JT is also working on another book in the same universe that would take place at about the same time period as Finding Salvation, that will be coming out in the summer sometime. So he does have more books coming in that universe, as well as maybe a compendium at some point that will explain some of the history and give family trees and things like that, because Finding Salvation takes place 3,000 years before Serving Salvation. 3,000 years is a long time, and there could be a lot of information that needs to be filled in. So I and other people have recommended that perhaps you compile a compendium, and we'll see if that will be coming sometime soon as well. But I do hope, if you're in the local area, that you do come and visit us and get a copy of Finding Salvation. Like I said, we have very limited copies available. We will also have copies of the Serving Salvation trilogy at that signing as well. If you'd like to get the entire set, that would be awesome and really would make JT's day. And we have a lot of other things planned as well. If you're not in the local area, you can check out our books at carsonhume.square.site, where you can order a copy autographed to be shipped to you. If you can't make it to Comma Coffee, but you're in the Northern Nevada area and you want to order a copy off of our book site, we can meet up in a neutral location somewhere and hand that off to you so that you don't end up having to pay the shipping costs. The costs are built in, but we would refund you that shipping cost if we did the exchange in person. So we are trying to promote ourselves, but we're continuing to try to promote our friends in the local author community. So do keep an eye out for any local events, whether you're in Northern Nevada or not. Look for your local authors. Go to your library and see if any of your local author books are there. If not, request them. Your local author may not have released them in such a way that they are available to your libraries, but it doesn't hurt to ask. Also, check out your local independent bookstores and ask for your local authors that way as well. Try to build a local author community. If you are a reader, authors really appreciate that. If you are a fellow author, it's great to try to help promote each other, because not only do you make some wonderful friends, you can share things like beta reading opportunities, but you can also help promote each other's book releases. And that can be a ton of encouragement in and of itself. So again, I thank you for joining me today. I hope you're having a wonderful day and week, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. I'm Cassidy Carson, and this is The Life of a Writer. Take care.